Hello from London. I'm again at my kitchen talking about health. We have had a lot of messages and emails from my students and from you guys about cancer and tumors. And in this video, I talk a lot about cancer and tumors and the reasons behind that, the thinking habits, the behavioral habits, and why cancer starts in the first place. So when you look at the genes that are suspected to have cancer, such as encoding enzymes involved in cell cycle and known as tyrosine kinases, which is a sympathetic, and phosphatase, which is parasympathetic. Many different combinations of mutations can transform a normal cell into a cancer cell. So when you look at a cancer cell, there are a lot of different variations, different combinations of cancer cells, and each tumor, even within one individual, might be very different. You might have very different tumors and very different combination of tumors in your body. And tumors are usually malignant and non-malignant cells, turning off the activity of the cells to undergo the apoptosis. There are similarities in the behavior of stem cells and cancer cells. I think this is a very important information, because stem cells have this unlimited ability to divide. Cancer cells also have this unlimited ability to divide. And I talked about the people who have cancer in my last video, and I told you that usually the people who have cancer are people who think death is bad and who give a lot of meaning to life and who hold on to life too much. So when you hold on to life too much, even though you are not growing, even though you're not a child, you might have the cancer cells that act like stem cells, which divide and grow unlimitedly, and those become cancer cells because you hold on to life and you wanna live more, and you like life more than death. Your cells, in the end, to reflect that, divide and regenerate and renew themselves constantly, and it ends up as tumors and cancer. So both cancer cells and stem cells have unlimited ability to divide. They are both sensitive to the cellular environment in which they grow, and many of these genes known to be active in stem cells are also activated in cancer cells, which leads them to reproducing and dividing and staying alive. Tumors are a mixture of malignant and non-malignant cells and blood and lymph cells, all embedded in fibrous material known as the extracellular matrix. Compression of this matrix can collapse the blood vessels, which can foster cancer progression through the deprivation of oxygen, which is also called hypoxia, and restriction of cancer-eating immune cells, and further activation of malignant cells, as well as furthering fibroblastic matrix formulation. Computer models right now in the science world are now enabling scientists to explore the complex biochemical processes that derive cancer growth. And this is called cell molecular inventory control. Cell molecular inventory control for cancer. So maybe if you have cancer or somebody from your family has cancer, you have heard of this system. It is exploring how cells deregulate and become cancerogenic. As a natural part of cell's life cycle, as we spoke in my last videos, the cell's multicellular organisms engage programmed cell death, and which is ideal, which is called cell suicide, for cellular removal, and that's very much needed in our body. But the thing is, cancer cells avoid programmed cell death, so they avoid dying. They do not die, and they resist that death, that programmed cell death. They crack the system, and their uncontrolled growth fuels to progression, and their uncontrolled growing and renewing themselves, dividing themselves constantly, end up with cancer. So this is what I call the over desire for life. This is what I call holding on to life. I have worked with enough cancer patients, hundreds of them, studied their minds and breathing habits, and have seen an over desire for life and the lack of ability to let go. the ability to die, simply relax. That's why they have sleeping problems, stress, anxiety as well. On top of that, they are too attached to life. They love life too much because they have distorted perceptions about life, what life is, which is, in my opinion, disturbs this self-suicide process and leads to uncontrolled growth, which results in tumors. That is why I also think and have seen that learning to let go, learning to give up, learning to relax, die in the moment, a total surrender can be the ultimate cure for cancer. That is why with many cancer patients I worked with, I also help them release their exhale, because I've seen they're either performance breathers or they're holding on to the exhale too much. So the more they learn to relax, the more they learn to die. Taking in breath is taking in life, letting go, giving out the breath is dying. So if you can't relax, if you can't relax in your mind, if you can't relax in your body, if you can't relax in your breath, that eventually leads to cells not relaxing, and healthy cells normally destruct themselves. Cancer cells avoid removal signals due to that. It's like they avoid the signals, they avoid the death signals, which also means that you are avoiding in your thinking habits death. If you're avoiding death, if you live life like you're never gonna die, if you live life avoiding death, not thinking about it, or thinking too much about it, or having distorted perceptions about it, and if you have a dysfunctional breathing habit related to those thoughts, if you're afraid of dying, if you have fear of death, and if you can't let go, that will lead to cancer and tumors. So I have seen with many of my clients, with many of my students, that the more they learn to relax the exhale, the more they can relax, the faster they can heal with, of course, getting medical help as well. But there are some people who can't heal even though they get medical help because they keep on holding on to life too much. I have also seen people who keep on holding on to life, who say to themselves, I won't die, and that's why they die. And it's very important to understand this. Life and death are cycles, they are needed cycles, they are necessary for holistic health, for all of us to stay healthy and well. Our bodies need that death and life cycle, that balance. So that's why I strongly believe that learning to let go, learning to relax, die in the moment, a total feeling of surrender, which can come with meditation, regular breath work, with mind work, and that is why Nevşah Institute curriculum exists, that can lead to curing cancer, that can lead to people, while they're getting medical treatment, to receive that treatment much more faster and heal. I have seen tens of people heal cancer by allowing death, by relaxation to happen in their bodies and in their cells. And although giving up, relaxing, letting go is very intimidating for them, for cancer patients, learning to let go, learning to give up, relaxing the exhale, learning to die, either into life, into the moment, into your breath, can be a big help in the healing process. Because as I said before, as healthy cells normally destruct themselves, which is what the body needs destruction as well as life, living, reproduction and destruction comes together. Cancer cells crack the system and avoid removal signals, and that's why people die. Your lopsided sensory perceptions, exaggeration, minimization, one-sidedness create lopsided memes, self-righteousness or self-wrong personas. And these create lopsided phones and lopsided genes. DNA has the ability to turn on and turn off large areas of itself. So that's what is happening in cancer patients. When you turn on or turn off certain thoughts, when you don't look at death, and you don't want to die, you turn off some thoughts, and when you hold on to life, you turn on some thoughts, you become self-righteous and self-wrongous. You turn off a large portion, a large area of your DNA. So any wish in the mind, whether it be life wishes, holding on to life, or whether it be death wishes, holding on to death, they all manifest themselves typically, phenotypically, memotypically, and genotypically. typically. When they maintain equilibrium, so when you have a balanced perception, when you are more awake, when you're more objective but not subjective, then sustainable wellness and health exists. An equilibrium of health and disease exists, and that's what's really healthy. Growth and death occurs, your cells grow and die at the same time. It gives rise to true wellness. People desire death when two fundamental needs are frustrated to the point of extinction, namely the need to belong with or connect to others, and the need to feel effective with or to influence others, says Dr. Joner. He's a PhD. So whether you have a wish to die or a wish to live, if you have distorted perceptions about life, if you think life is good, joyous, everything about life is good, you hold on to life and you have a wish to live. If you have distorted perceptions about death, if you think life is bad, death is better. If you think life is dangerous, people are bad, then you will have a wish to die. In both scenarios, you will have symptoms, you will have illnesses, you will have sicknesses. Because in the perfect environment, in the body equilibrium, in perfect health, wellness and health exist in the equilibrium of growth and death. When growth and death occurs instantly, it gives rise to true wellness. So our mission should be transforming our mind, should be working on our mind, working on our distorted perceptions, so that we can go through that imaginary perceptions and live life with sustainable health and well-being. And I'm certain that if you transform your mind, if you transform your distorted perceptions, you will reach to a sustainable health and well-being you cannot even imagine right now. Thank you for watching. I love shooting these videos. I hope you like listening and watching me. See you in my next video.